This is 10th century Abbasid Baghdad, a hyper-capitalist metropolis where absolute wealth and absolute poverty are separated only by a few feet of crowded alleyway. Here is Isa ibn Hisham, a man of high education and even higher tastes, and right now he is focused entirely on a specific luxury, Azad dates. But Isa has a problem that education cannot solve. His pockets are empty, and he has no currency to navigate the markets he craves. In this city, when you have no money, your only hope for survival or indulgence is to weaponize your wits against those slower than you. Isa's eyes settle on a man from the rural Sawad farmlands, an outsider leading a donkey and looking visibly exhausted by the city's pace. This is the perfect mark. He is disoriented, naive to the local rhythms, and likely bound by the strict codes of rural hospitality. Isa's plan is immediate. He will use a social engineering attack to extract a high-end meal from a man who doesn't even know his name. The success of the scam depends entirely on the first 10 seconds of their interaction. Step 1. The rush. Isa sprints towards the man, greeting him with the explosive, fake enthusiasm of an old friend, calling him Abu Zaid. The rural man is confused. He politely tries to correct the mistake, explaining that his name is actually Abu Ubaid. Isa doesn't give him a chance to speak. He steamrolls the correction, lamenting how long it's been and asking urgent, detailed questions about the man's father. This barrage of rapid-fire questioning short-circuits the victim's ability to think. By the time the rural man can process the first lie, Isa has already moved on to the fifth. Now comes the trap. Isa physically steers the bewildered man away from the main road and into the claustrophobic maze of the meat market. They sit, and the extraction begins. Isa orders a massive spread of roasted meats, emphasizing pets that are dripping with fat and juices. Isa adopts a tone of absolute authority, using commanding, high-register Arabic. By speaking like a nobleman, he forces the vendor, and the mark, to accept him as the person in control of the transaction. To finish the meal, Isa orders 2 pounds of luxury almond pastries, lusinage, that melt before they can even be chewed. Once the food is gone, Isa claims he needs ice-cold water to wash it down. He asks the mark to stay put, promises to return, and simply walks away. He stops just far enough away to disappear into the crowd, turning back only to watch the vendor realize the bill hasn't been paid. The silence of the meal is broken when the street vendor stands over the rural man, demanding payment for the massive feast. The mark is paralyzed. He explains that he was invited, that he was a guest eating the bread of a friend. The vendor doesn't care about hospitality. He punches the man and forcefully extorts 20 dirhams, the price of a meal the rural man never asked for. The man pays the bill with his own teeth-pulled coins, weeping as he realizes his rural politeness was effectively weaponized against him. In a city this vast, a man who cannot loudly assert who he is becomes whoever the grifter needs him to be. Watching from the shadows, Isa feels no guilt. He recites a short poem about how the mind must be worked like a tool to provide one's daily bread. This story is the Bagdadi Maqamah, a cornerstone of Arabic literature written 1,000 years ago by al-Hamadani. Before this genre, literature was often a tool of the high-culture literary world. The Maqamah broke that tradition, choosing instead to document the cynical, brilliant, and often cruel reality of the street. A millennium has passed, but the core mechanics of the hustle endure. In any crowded market, linguistic agility and a ruthless eye for vulnerability remain the most effective tools for those who refuse to starve.